Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 431st Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, May 5th, 2022. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond, and I'll be a host today. And once again, we welcome Mr. Mayran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. Now, I'd like to start off with today's workshop with a video that Mr. Keshe asked me to play. It's from the Spanish group called How Does Plasma Science Work? And I understand it's dedicated to Angelo of the Spanish group. Mr. Keshe, I'm not sure if you want to say something now about that or perhaps after the video.
Good morning, good day to you as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute programs. This recording is in the memory of Angelo of the Spanish group. He's done a lot of work for years in the background, supported relentlessly the whole work of the foundation, and he's made many programs. And the Spanish group, in tribute to his work, have made this 3-4 minutes video, this program, which is actually appropriate for the teaching of today. And let's look at it, understand it, and in a way elevate it so that it brought so much knowledge to the Spanish group and so much dedication to the work and perfection, which is the way he used to work and promote the plasma technology and knowledge of the science of the new space technology. Would you like to go ahead and then talk?
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're back to our workshop here, and Mr. Kesh, are you ready to begin?
Yes. Thank you very much for playing that intro. And I'm sure a lot of us have seen a lot of these pictures many times. We read the books, we read the papers, we made the answers. But how far do we know? What do we know? And how much have we thought about it? Or it's just what appears on the screen or the page? When you look at one of its pictures, comes down, is even an amino acid, is a plasma. To all of us in the Keshe Foundation, the way we look at the amino acid is something oily, flat, on top of the ganses we make. But what happens if we turn this plasma into a vacuum condition? How would the amino acid look as a plasma? Is truly three-dimensional. And then when you look at it, then if you can turn again the amino acid of the copper oxide, zinc oxide, and CO2 or CH3 or other materials which you make, put them in a vacuum condition, appropriate for it to take its optimal shape and what they call motion, what will we get? For sure, we get the shape of a cell of a man. For sure, for the first time, we'll see that structure. When you work in a correct vacuum condition as the body of the man, you see things in a different way. Things behave different way. And then we can see how we can a replication of the man by the fields, by the plasma of it, and then by the essence of the center of it, what we call the operation center of the amino acid, or we call the soul of it. But there is one thing more fundamental that all this, when we put it in three dimensions, in a way, that cell as an interactive entity is a fundamental plasma, is a neutron, is the beginning of a cycle for another cycle. In the books and in all the teaching, we continuously speak about fundamental plasma, which is by its nature the initial, the beginning, the what we call the what we see in the outset of the work of what we call movement, motion of what we see as magnetic fields in different direction, in different strengths, in different sizes, but in totality, as they have one common denominator in the center, they behave, they are connected to, and they interact with each other. You only can bring plasma together when you have common denominator-based function in respect to the environment which they exist. One plasma might not exist on Earth, but that fundamental plasma exists on the moon, which we are not aware of. We don't have awareness of it. We don't have the education of it. We haven't been there. The fundamental plasma on another planetary system, another solar system of the galaxy is different. But in essential understanding, they behave in the same manner. What does happen with this fundamental plasma? We talk about division of it. When the fundamental plasma goes through a cycle of the division and creates and releases what we call nuclear decay. How does this nuclear decay takes place? How does this nuclear decay starts, that it reaches this point? This nuclear decay It starts by interaction of these fields inside and become gradually stronger. That is internal central field force in respect to the internal field force of the original plasma has to show reaction, Magritte position. And what it does, when the field strength in this plasma reaches in force equal or in line of interaction similar to the original, then it takes its position. In taking position, it shows as the plasma has divided, what we call nuclear decay. So in a way, electron, you call it, the soul of the man, you call it, or the start of the creation of any entity as a plasma starts to speak. You call this fundamental plasma, where by strength interaction of the fields within it goes through a nuclear decay. But what is the other understanding of this technology, this plasma? You call this one nuclear decay. You have another fundamental plasma. We call it the creator, where through the interaction of its fields, through interaction of the fields of itself, going through a decay, has created the creator Amrita, or the soul of the creator and the rest of the creation. But still, within its structure, carries the same. We have chosen different names for the same process. Fundamental plasma, the original. The creator is the same. The original, where through decays and decays of frequent developments and interaction of other fields has led to creation of many galaxies, universes, and the rest, where in this process you become another elements, as we know in the cycle of the knowledge of the man. So when we talk about the fundamental plasma and we talk about the creator, there can be no difference. But the fundamental question to ask in the fundamental plasma of a neutron, we guess, we know what fields could be there and how they came, because they came from another process. What about the fields which led to the creation of the creator, which led to creation of the plasma of the creator, that in its division this process led to this.
Sorry, Mr. Kesh, we missed about the last sentence.
No problem. We know that the fundamental plasma comes through what we call the evolution, division, interaction of the fields of the creator. So we see step-down process. We see interaction of the fundamental plasmas in with each other, or together, or amalgamating together, leads to creation of new cycles of life. We call it the cell of the man, we call it the body of the man, we call it a tree. So what happened to the division of the fields of the creator, which instead of the man or a tree became galaxies, became universes and the rest? Now we understand. Now we can go a step further to be able to comprehend the process of creation, to understand what and how and where we came, what we were created of, and in a way to find, comprehend, to walk the path, the reverse way to the creator, or in a way become part of the fundamental plasma which led to the creation of totality. But there is a huge question. Where did the fields of the creator come from? what led to the creation of this unicos, this universe? How was it created? Or is it the physicality of the man, the physicality of the universe, a mirage? Because if we cannot find the essence, the origin of the fields, we have no reality to the functionality of the creator and the created. Where did the fields of the universe come from? Where did the fields of the creator came from that led to the creation of the unicos, the universe, the man and the rest? The question is very deep, but understanding of it brings man to one point: the powerlessness to understand the totality of the creation at this moment of time. No medication and no meditation will bring man to understand the process, the structure of the creation. But fundamentally, the fields of the gases, of the amino acids, of us, the other animals, once upon a time was part of the fields of the creator. Once upon a time was part of the process of the what we call fundamental plasma. But how much plasma, how much fields was within that original creation and the creator's plasma that now we still see the expansion of it. We still see the division of it. We still see the nuclear decay in a larger scale than an atom. What we call nuclear decay of the universe, nuclear decay of the plasma. In the cosmology, we have seen this. If you look, and in some of the papers in the book, I have referred to this, that in some parts of the universe, cosmologists see fields, collection of galaxies which are rotating in the opposite direction to the environment. And most of these are created by the interaction of the fields of the other universes. But some of these are those electrons which are ready to depart. So even we live in this universe, and what our scientists observe, what our scientists tells us, we see these patches. Which one of them indicates the interaction within the universe? And which one of them will indicate this is the new electron, the new universe to be propelled out of this universe, to start a new cycle. But when this universe reaches its destiny, or this, when this what I call Maghreb positioning in respect to the other universes, would it stay the same size? Or would it take fields, what is free within the environment of the unicos, and expand itself to a bigger universe? That it can be equal and it can be tolerated and could be balanced magnetic gravitationally in respect to the other universes. In reality, man has just put a toe into the ocean of the knowledge of the creation. We still got to feel the warmth of it, and then we have to trust it, and then jump in it, and that jumping takes a lot of knowledge. How to survive in this ocean of the knowledge and the reality of the creation and the creator. To what extent our scientists have ever understood this process? We just look at galaxies, we look at the stars, they're there, they hit each other, they're in that position. We see the same star in the same position for thousands of years. But where this all came from. Where did this came to be part of? Where the fields which their interaction and what I call amalgamation led to the creation of the plasma of the creator. And if this is correct, which it has to be because we see it in the image of the nuclear decay, then it comes, where did the fields of the creator came from? Is there another dimension above? Or forever we go to God, to God, to God, to God, and the gods, which is the father of the God, of the father of the God, of the God. Then they're back in the same cycle. But essentially, where did the first magnetic fields, which led to the creation of present universe and unicosmos, came from? Well, as I said, if we cannot understand it, or we cannot explain it, and we cannot physically, tangibly lead our knowledge to understand it, then everything we have around us is nothing but a mirage and a facade. And then it comes to the point, was it the fields of strength of the emotion which led to the creation of the creator? Or did the creator have, as fields interaction, created his own emotion? In the Quran, Blessed Muhammad says, he has 100 attributes. And that's only in the matter state, not in the plasma state. The attributes of the creator is incalculable. We cannot even talk about it. We just talk about what we understand emotionally in the dimension of the fields of the matter state of this planet. Then it comes that if in our knowledge, if with our understanding, we could find the fields of emotion of the creator, would we be able to interact with it? Then emotion transfers our connection. Even the field emotion of the creator has a strength. Otherwise, it cannot interact. It's an effect of his existence. And to be there, to interact, it has to have a dimension. Then, can we in the new processes come to understand this? Can we in these processes go through the condition of understanding the totality of the motion in the universe? Many of you will be shocked when you will see the enhancement flight unit's process of flight and interaction with the soul of them. Never been seen at all. Is a technology which has been hidden from man. It's understanding the process of the creation through the soul of the system. System, be it the aircraft, be it the flight system, be it the creator, be it another person. The new flight system, which you will see, will be unveiled in a very short time. You will see something has never been seen before, never been comprehended, that man can reach this level of understanding that he does not even need to move his physical body, where he can transmute his soul and manifest himself even within the soul of the Creator, if the man understands the strength of the transmutation and transportation of the fields of the universe. In the new enhancement units of light, you will be baffled when you walk in. You walk in within the fields of the universe. You walk in with an understanding of the creation of the condition of the universe. Then, if your soul finds its strength within the strength of the system, and find its position in the fields of the universe, it will be one of the most amazing flight systems man has ever seen. And its simplicity will baffle the scientists for centuries to come. You got to understand, to be able to travel within the ocean of this planet, it took man years to create submarines. To be able to hide and be inside a cocoon, we call it the submarine, to be able to move like a fish. Now we have brought the knowledge of the submarine of floating within the fields of the universe, and having the ability to reach the strength of the fields of the emotion of the Creator. If man decides to be as pure as the Creator, detached, where physicality and the wealth of this planet has no meaning, where the wealth of the knowledge of the universe, where the wealth of the understanding the process of the creation is sacrosanct. Then you become not circle. Then you become not fields within the embodiment of the field of the Creator. And one day, when your strength reaches the strength in parallel time, you become another universe. Another attribute embedded with the fields of the Creator. Then the question comes, is the Creator within me, or am I within the Creator? The motion of the fields of the cell of the man, the amino acid of the body of the man, is another connection in line of the totality of the existence of the Creator. And we are still in that process of being created as a cell to further on to create a new dimension, and then for that again to become part of the new dimension. And then, as I've said many times, if this process exists, that we go from the soul of the Creator to creation of the universe, then there must be an environment that this universe is going into. And then the question is, what is this? Where we, as our Creator, we think and we pray to, and we see that the omnipotent self is part of another structure. You cannot blow a balloon in a room if the balloon has no room to grow. The universe, as we see, cannot expand with 1 million kilometers an hour if the room for it to expand doesn't exist. But where is that room? What is that room? Where is the limitation of the understanding of the man in respect to the present knowledge of humanity? Won't man lose itself when he reaches to that level of understanding? Or would man become satisfied and matured once understand this understanding? All the wealth on this planet worth nothing compared to the fraction of the knowledge of the Creator and creation for man to understand. Then you need to understand more about what you do in these gas boxes. You just made the gas. You're still in the dimension of the what we call field strength of this planet. what about when you put the gans in a vacuum? In the near future, many of you in the Institute of Keshe Foundation will do this because it's the only way we will see the reality of the interaction of the field. Where we can take one gas and change the environment of it and see it the size of a football, then see the interactions with it. If any of you have worked as much as I've done, and many of you in the laboratories where we work at -11, -12, in the vacuum condition, you see the beauty of the creation. You see how things take shape. You see creation within the vacuum chambers. We see the energy they release after we shut down, after when they exist. When we did these tests in Bruges, in Belgium, in the Ukrainian-made special space vacuum systems, when we shut down our reactors, when we shut down everything, then the fields used to play. And then we several times could not control these fields, and they went through the channels of the fields of the man, and they burned the system after that. What are called fields transportation, transmutation, where they cannot find a space and they travel because there is no limitation with the matter state of the man. And then can we become part of that field? Then can we become part of that, what we call non-tangible fields, and travel the embodiment of the body of the man or within the environment of the man? In the production of the new systems for flight, again in the lab, in production, our people saw the same thing. After they switched the system off, times later, the merger of the plasma fields with no electric connection has melted the board because the fields are still in existence. The body goes to sleep, but the soul and the fields are still active. The same as you go to sleep, but everything still goes on. I call it a dream. How can we use these positions, or do we learn from them that in the future we switch off the physicality and we let the fields of the soul of the man, the body of the man, the cell of the man to take what are called the free fall? Take the path where it is allowed by the strength it's gathered to find its position. Isn't this what happened to us when we die? But now, through understanding of the system, we do not to die. But we can be there to enjoy the fields of emotion of these fields within the system. Be it interaction with the mother or the dog, or feeling how the furniture feels when I jump on it. Everything has an emotion. Everything has a feeling because it's made of the dynamic fields. Now, the science of creation goes back to the fundamental plasma. Be it a neutron in an atom, be it proton in an atom, be it an electron within an atom. In the present nuclear technology, which are always objected to the nuclear scientists, we always speak about nuclear decay. But in fact, we have proton decay, we have electron decay, which means when the fields inside build another dimension within them, and then not holding, they go through the process. Our nuclear physicists always have made this limitation that a neutron decays. God forbid. A proton came from the neutron, has the same attribute, has the same properties, has the same expansion and extension on the fields and interaction. When our scientists come to understand the process of the proton decay, electron decay, Then we will move more in understanding the dimension of the creation. Then we understand that when we go through a division of an atom, it's not only that the one neutron changed or neutron position themselves. We have to see which electrons have changed as well, which protons have changed again, gave and things. Just because we see the numbers does not mean it's the same proton. It doesn't mean it's the same electron. It doesn't mean it's the same neutron. And then if we understand this process, we go back to the fundamental process of the decay, fundamental decay, and the fundamental elements of the universe, which goes back to the process of the division of the fields of the Creator. As a nuclear physicist, this misunderstanding, this words of only neutron decays has bothered me for decades. But you cannot speak about it because they don't understand it. Even our own nuclear physicists cannot, never been taught, could never comprehend what is good for a girl, but for gander too. If it's good for the goose, it's the same thing as for the girl. If we can eat the same grass, it does the same thing in the body as the other. This is the part of the knowledge that you as knowledge seekers now have to react, interact, understand to be able to go to the next step of the fundamental process of the creation of the elements, movement of the fields, energy transmutation, and transportation and transmutation in energy or matter state or the field state, which is part of the universal process of creation. The reason I brought this topic up is that when you see the new enhancement flight systems, you wonder, what does it do till you get in it? But when you got in it, what can I do? The process is for knowledge seekers to understand interaction of the fields of the plasma. Many times I've said, stop looking at the matter state, look at the fields, interaction of the fields, and the behavior of the fields. With the new flight system, you have no choice. You're bound to, you have to be able to understand it. There is no control panel. There is nothing when you walk in. You walk into an empty room. It goes back to the box we showed in Idaho, an empty box of the energies of the universe. You walk into that box. Your soul becomes part of that box. You're another stick hanging on the wall of the cap of that box. But it goes back. What do we take from the fields of the universe? And what we give to the fields of the universe to keep our emotion and our soul in respect to the emotion we have intact. That at the end of the process, we put a chicken, we get out the chicken. We don't put a chicken, and we get the turkey on the other side. It's fundamental for those of you who are playing with this knowledge to understand. Many of you might think we talk to you as a knowledge seekers you work at home. Keshe Foundation teaching is listened by many scientists in the advanced research laboratories around the world. And many of them work, wants to understand, to develop a new dimensions in technology. This type of teaching is for them, especially in the space level and beyond. Our knowledge seekers, what we call those who understand and look after the depth of the knowledge, does not finish with you who are online today, the scientists from leading universities, flight institutes, and religious organizations which listen to every word of the teachings to see what they can grasp in their field of expertise. And how they can expand the knowledge. The understanding of the expansion of the energies of the soul of the man covers both those universities and the structures which are theologies and the scientific together. We have this in Vatican as much as we have it in Islamic Republic of Iran in universities with trained clergies and teach them to be a doctor, teach them to be a physicist, and teach them to be the others, where they try to understand on the ethos of theology, the understanding of the true essence of the creation. And these scientists will expand the knowledge of the man in a much deeper way than our knowledge seekers who just make guesses. It's a time to understand the process of interaction of the theology and the science together, that all of you become an expert in understanding and the responsibility of the motion of the soul of the man in respect to the physicality of the man. The new enhancement unified system will force us to that position. We throw in man in the deep oceans of the knowledge of the universe by releasing the new flight enhancement unit. And we hope none of you will get drowned in that knowledge. But you understand it, you process it, and with it, you create the new dimensions of existence for mankind. The 4 flight systems, which are now getting ready to be tested in June, will bring a new dimension to the flight of the man, what I call the flight of fancy. In a way, what you want, you will achieve. And when you come back, I've been there since we haven't seen you, you haven't been there. I've seen the mother, and mother says we have to do this, but the mother died 40 years ago. But with the understanding of the new structure, you have not grabbed, you have created the fields that already had a connection with the mother to enhance, to see the mother in the dimension of the soul, but to the image of understanding of the fields of the I is the mother. Then it brings a more fundamental question to all of us. Is what we see a mirage, that through the conversion of the information in our eyes become a mother? If we can make that in the dimension of sleep, how come we have not made it in the dimension of what we call awakeness? Then is there reality to the dimension of the physicality of the existence? And or is it always a mirage? Or with the new technology, with a new understanding, we create a condition to be able to travel between the two. The space scientists, the scientists of cosmology, and the scientists of what I call theology would release of the new enhancement flight system will have a big dilemma how to work it. Many of you walk in and you say it doesn't work. And many of you walk in and you tell a lot. And then who do we understand? And who do we comprehend in about the talk? And who, which one of you is now ready, has not understood, so cannot reach that point of interaction? The new enhancement unit for flight is one of the simplest but more comprehensive ways to teach man the first step about the motion, about interaction, about transmutation within the fields of the universe. This week I was in the lab, and when I saw the structure next to each other, it brought me to teach more. for you to understand in the near future, even these structures will be non-tangible than the physical way you see in the present enhancement. We tap into the energies of the universe and we give to the soul of the man what it needs from it to elevate itself and then transmute itself through the same process to reach the dimension of the soul of the others, to create a dimension of the reality of the existence in the dimension of the soul of the man, not in the dimension of physicality of the man. Where the man now walks the street, but the soul is working with the other souls in the background, living in a schizophrenic life of the physicality and the fields of the universe. With the new enhancement units, we bring that position that man continuously is aware of the both, which one is enjoyable and which one he wants to work with, and how to coexist, that the use of the matter state of the man by killing to consume will come to an end. Try to understand the teaching of today. Try to understand exactly what is talked about. Try to work in the dimension of the fields, understanding the strength field division, and then try to understand how these are interconnected with the soul of the man, soul of physicality of the man, the physicality of the man, and the physicality of the environment, and the soul of the environment, which brings you to that point. Then is man ready to see the Christ with his own eyes in the enhancement? I promised you this years and years ago. Would the Pope have any position when he stands in front of what he preached to be his master? But he lied in his name, and he betrayed in his name, and he killed in his name. I promise you, if you go back years ago and return the stones of Vatican back to Colosseum, where it came. Because the man has to understand the process of the theology, the creation, and the state of the matter state, that one cannot use that. When man dismantles the Vatican by his own hand, he will not even return it to Colosseum, where the man abused the physicality of the man, but in Vatican they use the soul of the man in the name of the Creator. Then man become knowledgeable to see. Man will put the flock of the religion and what I call abuse of the soul of the man on the doors of the churches, the mosques, and the rest. We all walk the same. And there shall be no king, as we all understand the kingdom comes from the understanding, the knowledge of the Creator, and not with the flock of the man and abusive behavior of the other physicality of the man. We are in that process to launch the flying system and then to expand it for more people to be able to see, to be able to reach, to be able to understand. Most of the time, you're not aware of it, even when you walk in the exhibition in Leeds. When you pass one of the units, just beware, the unit is alive. It's still getting fat, it's still putting weight on, and is the same as you, but is there not to eat you, but to consume the energy fields of its environment to confirm its existence. The new flight system, which will be released in the coming time, will teach the man to fly in the dimension of the soul of the man and not the physicality. And then man decides where, in what shape and form, to manifest itself in the dimension of physicality. As we say in English, I would like to be the fly on the wall to see what happens in that room. Now you have that opportunity that you go in with the soul of the man and you become fly on that wall to see what the man says about the man. Because now you are in charge of it, you understand the process of it, and with it you gather the knowledge of the creation and not the wealth of the man. Try to understand the work of the fundamental plasma, the creation of it, the process of its existence, without these hullabaloo of the quarks and anti-quarks and everything else. Look at it as a dimension of the planetary system. Look at it as an interaction of the fields of the cell of the man. Look at it as an interaction of galaxies in a bigger dimension as organs. Then you will see and you understand the process. As I thought some time ago to one of the knowledge seekers, you think that you are the only being that you can eat and reject. The same thing happens in the universal and in the galaxy state. When the field energies absorbed are not needed, are gathered in one place, and imbalance of the fields rejected as what we call maybe an electron. It's the same process. It doesn't mean that every field enter or in an entry and then conversion is needed by a cell, by a galaxy, by a universe. They are gathered in one place. And then in time, when we gather enough strength, they're rejected. We see these in the oceans of the man with the plastic ocean, what we call islands. They come from all over the planet. They gather in the heaps in the oceans and they create a dimension. Then what happens to them? How do we reject them? It's the same as that electron. How is it going to be rejected? We see these in the clouds above the skies. Not all the clouds are just what you see as the wind goes, but they are amalgamation of the field energies which the planet cannot hold on to. It gathers together, breaks it up, and creates a new dimension of the fields, which some of it, a fraction of it, comes towards the Earth. The rest move outside the planetary system. When you see and hear the thunder, it's not that what happens under where you are. The fields which the planet cannot hold on to, which are gathered in the upper atmosphere, are rejected out of this planet. Otherwise, this planet will be hippopotamus of the fields of the solar system. Part of the process of the clouds and interaction of the fields in the planetary system like Earth is rejection of the fields which cannot be absorbed, and at the same time, rejection of the fields for the creatures which are above the clouds, as we've seen in the videos and confirmation by NASA and the space scientists. We think we get everything, but they need the energies of this planetary system because they're part of it. Then you open your eyes in a new dimension. What does the soul of me needs and holds on to, and what does the soul of me gives out? That it can give opportunity to the other souls to live the physicality still. Go back to one of the talks of the long time where I explained about why the grandparents love and enjoy the grandchildren. The use of energy which they carry, it gives them strength, new dimension, what they don't need, but it's what is needed by the old man. We do that in the young age, but we forget about the process because the hugging and emotion is much more than the truth in what actually the emotion is and what it does. This is the process of understanding the field's interaction of the universe. And mankind has no choice, no alternative, but to understand it in a very short time as new technologies in space are released, not only by Keshe Foundation. In a very short time, once we launch these systems, others will develop parallel, equal, better system than us because they understand part of the knowledge that we were not interested in. The race to space truly starts now that the mankind as a whole, with the free teaching of Keshe Foundation, has allowed totality of the knowledge seekers of this planet to start racing to be able to expand, to use, and everything else. The interest will not be in how much harvest will increase. It will be how much happier we can make the harvest to be, that while it's there, it enjoys its existence because we don't need to eat it. It's not there for us to kill. The process of the technology is finished. All those knowledge seekers who were leading as knowledge seekers with just making gases and nanoplates and whatever is over. We respect and value the knowledge abroad, but it's time for the whole of Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers to move up to a higher level, to understand more, to understand the interaction of the fields as the matter state of the condition of the use is over. Even though we keep you busy because the new knowledge seekers have to do it. Those of you who were the original knowledge seekers and you got stuck that I'm a leading nanoplate maker and the science of plasma, gas making, you got to stop in last century's game. Move up, move to the new understanding and create the new levels of education for our knowledge seekers to come. We still teach people how to nanocoat, how to make gases, because through that they feel the fields of the gas, they understand there is something more, and then they develop to the next step. But those of you who understand in a higher level of education, universities and scientists who work around the work of the Keshe Foundation, let's step up. As the English say, if you don't want to be a tomato, you better catch up. It's time to move on. It's time to understand the process of the interaction of the fields of the creation. Fundamental plasma, as you all talk about it, and its decay change the fundamental plasma to create it. And then understand how much you still need to understand about the whole process. As I always said, when you read the books, the 3 books, depending on the understanding, depending on the comprehension, you will see it fits into another dimension. It's very generic. It's written in the language of a nursery, the language of the professor. Depends on what level your understanding is. You still gaga-gooing in the nursery, or you speak about the creation and totality of understanding in universities. Interpretation comes by knowledge, but the book is the same, and the understanding is the same, and the process is the same in all levels of the creation. But there's one point of mystery which man cannot understand at this moment, and he's not matured enough to understand. As I said, where did the fields came that it led to the creation of the creator? And it's so powerful that it can split after billions of years, still create man, and still carry on creating new dimensions. How strength and compact are the fields of the Creator that in what are called divisional separation across the universe still have a long way to go to feel the full space given to them by the uniqueness to grow into the dimension of its existence. And then, who made that limitation of the loom? Well, our unicos. Then that comes to another point of understanding. Thank you very much for today. And I hope to open your eyes in the old teaching, but with a new eye and new understanding of the totality of what. Rick, if you would like to go on a break and we come back and we carry on with any questions.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Kesh. I'll play some of the horizontal, vertical, and other unit videos in our break here as a partial answer to Katie, who has a question about med beds that we'll bring up after the break. Okay, bye for now, and we'll see you in a few minutes.